everyone, welcome to my channel. This is my very first YouTube video and I'm clearly fucking nervous. I'm actually gonna go get a beer so we can talk about this. It's literally 10:20 in the morning. I don't give a shit. I am a seasonal alcoholic, so I drink in the winter pretty much at any time. Once it hits like 10 o'clock, I'm gonna have a fucking beer. And then like once spring hits, I don't drink until summer. And then once fall hits, I don't drink until winter. So yeah, we just do things weird around here. Feel free to grab a beer with me. I have a lot of opinions that you may or may not like about feminism coming up. Alright, hello. So, I really just have a question. Oh my god. Starting out, which is, why is feminism needed for the modern American woman? I am non-binary, so I do look like a woman, but I don't view myself as someone that lives like a woman. And, I don't connect with that part of myself. My sex is female. Like, I get it. I know what my chromosomes are. You don't have to fucking tell me. If you want to call me she, go ahead. It's really not your job to make me feel comfortable in my own body. That is also a really good opinion. First of all, is that non-binary people, you need to stop expecting everyone to cater to your whims. Like, you're acting like your problems are as severe as trans women's problems and trans male problems, and they're not. All you literally do sometimes is put on pants and put a shirt on as pants and then say, I'm non-binary and you're judging me because I'm non-binary. No, I'm judging you because you look like a fucking clown. Okay? That's why everyone is judging you. It's not because you're non-binary. You're choosing your oppression. Just like I believe feminists are choosing to feel oppressed at this point in time. What do men do to you? What does the average male do to you? Like, literally, what does the average male do to you that oppresses you? I want to know. Like, I've asked feminists, like, TERFs, like, what the difference is, like, between, I get that trans women don't go through the same stuff as you, but I don't get why they can't be included in your feminist rallies so they can avoid tranny chasers at, like, their events, and they just also want to be your ally. Like, why can't they be your allies? And why can't you acknowledge that they do go through some of the same stuff you go through? Like, I'm just referring to TERFs. There are plenty of feminists that want to include everyone. They want to include men because they understand the only way to tear down misogyny is to unroot it from its source. But, like, what does the average American male do to oppress the average American woman? I really want to know. Because at this point, like, if you are the only woman or one of, like, 5 women working in an office of 20 people, you can't be fired. Like, you literally can't. Like, I know of a woman that has gotten promotions more than some dude that has worked in the same company for 10 years and she's been there for a few years because her friend got her in, female. And now she's the only female CSM in the entire company at that branch. So even though she doesn't do her job, customers are always complaining about how rude she is. And, like, literally somebody I know is constantly fixing her mistakes. She gets raises, she gets promotions, and they're literally having to, like, do a coup and collect a bunch of people to, like, complain about her and get all these things written up so they have a valid reason for firing her. Because if they fire her, it could be viewed as sexism and they could get a lawsuit. And the same thing happens for people of color. At this point in time, you don't even need experience if you are a black person or just a woman if there aren't enough people in that company that are a female or a black. You'll get hired before somebody with experience. Not all the time. I'm sure there are still many cases in which women deserve their promotions and they don't get it and they get passed up for a man that, like, has been working for 2 years and she's been working for 8. Like, I'm sure it still happens a lot. But at the same time, she could literally complain about that and sue the company for that. Oh my god. It's so good. Okay. I love Bud Light Lime so much. But I really want to know, what do we need feminism for if we're not including men and other people that are subject to abuse. Because feminism was about getting rid of male violence and about like how rape, like men can get away with rape and just blame women for the way they're dressed and stuff. But like trans women literally get raped for being trans women, for looking like women, but you don't want to include them in your groups, even though like the hatred of women goes so far. If a man decides to transition to a woman, if a male decides to look like a woman, like she is prone to violence, rape, just being treated like shit, she might not get a fucking job. It might be really hard for her to get a job. She might have to live her life as a fucking drag queen. Or like do some sex work or something. It's so hard for trans women to still get hired, far more than it is for biological women. Not all the time, of course. There are plenty of trans women that are intelligent enough and have great degrees, and you might say, oh, that's because they're white male, but no, it's because they work so fucking hard to be able to transition that they have all of these things. Like, at this point in time, anybody can get successful, I believe, at least in America. If you have access to a computer with a webcam, even a shitty one, you can do something. There's sex work, online sex work. There's fucking Instagram. There's Twitch. So many people on Twitch are so unattractive and bringing in so much bank just because they worked so hard at being good at video games. There was literally a 15-year-old that won like millions of dollars, or like $1 million playing a video game right now. And you might be like, oh, like he's not entitled to it. No! He just worked really hard at playing the same game to get good at it. Like, you just have to be good at something at this point to be successful. You need to stop blaming other people for your lack of success. Like, I get that the education system sucks in some areas. Like, I get that. Like, you don't worry. Like, I get that it will be hard to get, like, a scholarship from a high school with low ratings and stuff, but if you still have a higher GPA than anyone else in that school, you might be the only person that gets that scholarship if you were to actually try, instead of saying, well, my white men get everything and I have no choices, I have no options, so I'm just gonna give the fuck up. Now, those of you that don't give up and still just get no credit for any of your work and stuff, I get it. You are oppressed. I do not want to disagree with you on that. I do not want to tell you, oh, nobody's oppressed anymore. Like, no. Plenty of people are literally told, oh, you're smart for a blank person. So, like, I get that oppression exists, but I'm just saying, what? I guess let's just focus on white woman. How is the average white American woman oppressed? Please explain to me why you're angry that men joined in on the Me Too movement. Please explain to me how you plan on tackling misogyny while you just run around calling men pieces of shit, making them feel like their masculinity is the only thing they have to hold on to because that's all they have. Like, men are basically raised to be providers, which you think is this great privilege, but at the end of the day, now that they can't be that anymore, it's really not a privilege. It's like this fucking curse in which they feel like they're never going to be a real male because they'll never get a wife that they can just provide for. They'll never have this control or that control. And you know what? That's fucked that they think that, but it's also fucked up that, like, you have no empathy for, like, them crashing and falling from all these false hopes and dreams that were given to them as children. Like, fucking, I feel like Scott Pilgrim is a great example of, like, a dude who does nothing, is worth nothing, but is somehow going to get the hot girl. That is literally what media serves young boys all the time, is you can be a nothing, but you always get the hot chick. And that basically places their value and who they're with and what they're providing. Men feel like they have no value outside of that. And at this point, women are actually treating them like that, whereas before, women were like, no, I want to work, you are going to let me work, you are going to let me, but we had, I'm going to say we, because you know what, I was told all my life I was a girl, and I couldn't do a lot of things because I was a girl, so I do get it, but it just gave you a drive to work harder than anyone else. You know what I mean? It gave you a drive to want to do better. It gave you a drive to want to be successful. It gave you a drive to not need somebody. Whereas men are raised to think that if people don't need them, they're useless. And that's what misogyny is for men. Is telling them they're useless unless they find somebody that needs them. So at the end of the day, misogyny also does affect men in a very negative way that is very powerful, and it is what's leading to a lot of the violence. And we sit here and tell them they're dumb and stupid men who just can't do anything right and like to fucking fill our wallets. Like, I am a sex worker, and even I care enough about the people that give me money to want them to do something nice for themselves, not just focus on me. Like, I'm open for a debate though. Like, after this video, if anybody watches it, thank you if any of you watched it and stayed. I will be reading all of your comments and I will address them. I would just love to know of a way the modern American woman is oppressed by fucking the modern male. You act like 20% is 100% of the white male population, like they all fucking oppress you and they don't. Stop blaming people for your lack of success. Realize you're not successful because you're sitting around like Cartman blaming everyone else for your goddamn problems rather than working your goddamn hardest. And I know you're going to be like, well, you copped out, you're a sex worker. Okay, you tried to do sex worker work for a week, sweetie, and see how easy it fucking is if you don't look great. And I'm sorry, I'm average looking at best. So I had to work for years to get to the place anybody gorgeous gets to. And then also, when I transitioned from when I came out as non-binary and I had to move categories, I lost all of my following and I had to start my success over again. And I'm actually, like, everything is working against me because where I am at, everybody wants a dick and I don't have it. But at the end of the day, I still get my rent in on time. I still fucking put in enough hours. I still do all the work. Even if I break even at the end of the month, like, at least I'm fucking not blaming somebody else for me not being successful. Hello, come here. How did you get out? I think this is good. I think I asked the question I needed to ask, didn't I? They're free roam. I just have little gates. I used to keep them up, but she figured out how to pull the gate down. So sometimes she gets out and just hides in my room. It's okay. She never gets into any trouble. Don't worry about my pet. She is very safe in my house. That's why she is free roam. She can just get up out of her cage and leave, or her house. Honestly, I don't like calling it a cage, and leave whenever she wants. And that's really what you should do if you have guinea pigs. It's not like the rats that can get into your, like, fucking vents and tear shit up. So, yeah. Just answer my question, please. How do men oppress you every single day in your day-to-day life? Not the top 20% of men. Not the men in Congress that are anti-abortion, which you can just move from Alabama or wherever the fuck it's illegal, sis. Just fucking move. Figure it the fuck out. Or fucking travel. Get your credit. Stop using your credit on fucking shoes. Get a new card and use it for something you actually need. Like, on God. Like, I'm not saying every woman uses their credit on shoes or purses or whatever the fuck. But a lot of women will use a credit card to get their nails done when they need something else to be done. You know? My nails are from Amazon, so fuck off. They're like $15. But, yeah, just... I'm really not trying to be empathetic. Like, I get that there are cases in which people are oppressed, and mainly it's teenagers that are being oppressed by their own fathers and shit. Like, I will say, I get you. Like, I had a very oppressive, abusive father, and I was adopted too, so even when I told on him for being abusive, nobody believed me because adopted kids are liars. So, like, I get it. Like, to a degree, like, there are... How did you get down? She jumped. Oh my god. Alright, well, I'm gonna go. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please comment. I'll respond. And, I wish you the best of luck. And stop blaming other people for your problems and realize you have to be your own solution. Be the change you want to see.